What's good, everybody, and welcome back to the Angle Podcast. Today is book club. Guys, we're doing a little bit of book club because I just finished reading the fourth nonfiction self-improvement book since like 2023. Yeah, that was the first time that I read. 2023 was the first nonfic no, 2022, 2021. I'm arbitrarily extending the time of this podcast for no reason. Just know I don't really read nonfiction self-improvement all that much, but I have a stack of 4 here that I want to talk to you about. One of which scared the living daylights out of me, and I stopped reading it. And you might be wondering, what kind of book would scare Arish, reader extraordinaire, a self-proclaimed best book recommender on socials, on the planet thus far, living, breathing? What kind of book would scare him? And it's not even a thriller. It's not even a scary book. We'll get to that in a second. So I wanted to talk through 4 books with you guys, and I'm going to show you the outside of the not spine, the pages of it first, right? Look at all those book flags. Look at all of these flags right here, right? I'll have you know, I don't annotate fantasy books or anything like that. I don't like annotating imagery and simile and foreshadowing, all different like literary devices. I don't like that at all. It's not fun. It's not entertaining and it's not engaging mentally. It takes me out of the book. But I love annotating books like this because books like this are where the ones that you want all the information from, all of the details from to go back to and to flag and things like that. So let's just start with the stack, right? I want to start with Hidden Genius by Polina Marinova Pompliano. This was the one that actually made me fall in love with annotating books. This is how it looks. This is the front of it. And this is essentially stories and collections of people that Polina has either done a long form dossier on or has written about or has researched and everything like that. Like all the different kinds of successful people, how they think, how they behave, how they act, what are maybe some quirks about them, um, and just like what are like the hidden things about them that people don't know but that make them who they are. And I absolutely love this one. I absolutely love this one. I love the way she set it up because it was very, very story driven. It was almost always a lesson inside a story as opposed to a story inside a lesson. And it's split up into the easiest thing in the world chapters. There's 10 chapters in here, short book, 250 pages or so. And it's honestly just, it's awesome in my opinion. I think this will be one that I reread often. I've reread it once already, and I didn't flag different things the second time because I wasn't thinking about it the second time. Um, but I really, man, I really enjoyed this book. I tried a flagging convention, like only using orange flags for quotes, only using green flags for story beats, only using pink flags for insights, and then I ran out of those specific flags. So then I just started going all over the place. I have some greens, I have some reds in here as well, and some blues to finish it off. But let's just go to a random flag with me, um, and let's just see what it's about, right? This is talking about mastering mental toughness, and it's a David Goggins story, which is interesting because I don't really care that much about the David Goggins mentality at all at this point in my life. Um, but this tool is the 40% rule. The rule is the reason why, even though most people hit a wall at mile 20 during a marathon, they're still able to finish. It's simple. When your mind is telling you that you're done, that you're exhausted, that you cannot possibly go any further, you're probably only 40% done. And I think about that um, just in general because a couple of this happened Tuesday as well, but a couple of weeks ago in Taekwondo class, our instructor was like doing the usual warm up, and he made it kind of like a contest of who could hold the plank the longest. And I do still have an ego that does not want to be bruised, and therefore I will not lose to other people when it comes to, in my opinion, things that I've trained for years in calisthenics, which would be like squats, push-ups, planks, anything body weight. I do not want to lose. Even though I am so horribly out of shape, weaker than I used to be, and I have not trained that way, my mind still says, you are the same person who did that back in the day. You're the same person who had a dragon flag. You're the same person who held front levers. You're the same person who held tuck planches because I could never get to the full planche in time. You're the same person who did all of that, and you could still hold a plank. So I just held it. I literally just held it. I didn't think about anything. I just held it, and I held it for over a minute. And then he started making us do some crazy stuff. He was like, hold a plank on your fist, hold a plank on your fingertips, hold a plank on one side, and then switch to the other side. All these things, and by the end of it, it was me and some high schooler who wasn't really holding the plank. They were like pitching their hips up, almost like a downward dog. And I was like, you're not holding the plank, but I'm not dropping to you. I'm not dropping to somebody who's not holding a plank. All right. I have some self-respect and pride. And this is, while this quote didn't come back to me, the idea was in my head the entire time of like, no, I can still keep going. This is nothing. This is nothing at all. This is fine. This is easy. This is actually good. This is fine. I have more gas in the tank to give. And that was really cool. Let's find a pink flag for an insight. I don't like that insight. It requires context that I don't want to go into right now. This one's a good one. It's just a very brief quote by Hatfield. Who's Hatfield? Who is Hatfield? Astronaut Chris Hadfield said, "It takes a boldness of execution and an ability to overcome fear. Fear is just a symptom of lack of preparation. The best antidote for fear is competence." And if you don't believe that I'm reading what I'm reading, it's right there. It's right there. I like that too. I like that too. I'm telling you, there's so many just bangers in here. There's one right here that says the end goal is not to find flaws in the things you're told, but to find the new ideas that had been concealed by the broken ones. Just that quote right there, banger, banger. Anyways, that's Hidden Genius by Polina Marinova Pompliano, and I really, really love this book. Polina, if you're watching this, please come on the Angle podcast. I would love to talk to you about this book and your other long form profiles. Please, please. If you don't follow Polina on the profile, which is her Substack, and read all her long form pieces. They're so well written, bro. They're so well written. The second one that I tried to read after that and that I did not finish because I don't think it's that good, in my opinion, is Ali Abdal's Feel Good Productivity. And as you can see where the flags ended, I did not get far. I did not get past maybe like the first and a half section. After that, I was like, this is just not a great book, in my opinion. It didn't deliver the way that I want a book to deliver. And by that, I mean a lot of the information wasn't very new or insightful or novel. And at the same time, I just didn't connect with any of the stories that he had tried to, portray his ideas through. There were a couple of things that I really enjoyed at the beginning of the book. And I will say a lot of these things are also things that he's been talking about on YouTube and his like socials and all his like other content for years, just compacted into one book. And so it felt a bit like I'm not getting anything out of this because I've been watching him since 2021. Like I don't this isn't helping me because I already have gotten all this stuff drilled into my brain of watching the same content in YouTube this entire time, Um, but his whole like premise about the book is you don't need productivity mechanisms if you can find a way to enjoy what you do, and not enjoy as in love your work, but you can still get energy from the process, right? Like if I don't love going to the office, but I turn the long commute into time to read, and that fills up my time, gives me energy, gets me ready for like the work that I have to do. I don't love, you know, grinding for 8 hours a day. So I split up into 2 3 hour chunks or task oriented chunks, and in between I'll take a break, do something that I enjoy, and come back to it. And that way I still get a lot of work done, but I I don't, I don't succumb to the stresses, the boredoms, and like the annoyances of I have to do this work and I'm trapped and I have no way out, no way to make this fun. You can make productivity feel good, if you can make it like enjoyable. If you can do things, if you can frame it in a way that you enjoy it, if you can literally do things while you're doing the work that you enjoy, whether it's, you know, a lot of the times if I'm in meetings, I'm squeezing this like this finger strengthener circle, um, because I really just like playing with something in my hands or fidgeting with things as I'm trying to focus on something, and it helps. It makes doing those tasks so much more bearable because it's something that helps me. I don't know what it is. Uh, but anyways, uh, I'm not gonna go through every single one of these, and if you would like me to go through these in a different video, I can. But there is a concept in here that he talks about, that comes from Dr. Stuart Brown, um, and it's the 8 play personalities because Dr. Stuart Brown studied the psychology of play. And there's 8 type of play personalities: the collector, the competitor, the explorer, the creator, the storyteller, the joker, the director, and the kinesthete. The kines like it's like athlete, but kinesthete. And he has like 2 rings on it. I don't know what it is. And then he goes into like what the 8 different uh personalities kind of like what they do, who they are, what their attributes are, things like that. And I think that was really cool. That was at the beginning of the book. It just got more boring from there. It really did. And so I never finished it. I have 2 friends who both read the book and they enjoyed it because they enjoyed Dahl's content too. I've also just not enjoyed his content over the past like 2 years now. Like, I think it's because his content turned into I need to make the video that YouTube will push, not the video that I want to make. And that was a lot of the same information repackaged and then just re-edited in a new video and then put out because somebody new is always finding your content. But I was like, bro, I've been here since like 2022, 2021. I'm sick of this information. Give me something new to consider, to chew on, etc. I know these. I put these into my practice, you know? So that book just didn't do it for me. But a book that did do it for me though, The 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. Sahil Bloom is currently my number one like role model, virtual mentor of sorts, things like that. Um, and not for any reason except for I just like the dude. I just like the cut of his jib. I would want to go on a walk with Sahil Bloom, not a run because this man runs for miles. I can't run for 1 mile, but I'd go on a walk with him and talk. I'd go into zone 1 cardio, not zone 2 cardio because I die, but zone 1 cardio, I'm down. And he wrote a book called The 5 Types of Wealth. Now, if you don't know who Sahil Bloom is, he is an entrepreneur and a writer. I think those are the 2 things that I would call him. He's not a scientist, not a researcher, or anything like that, but he reads and disseminates information, just to the public through his Substack called the Curiosity Chronicle. I'm a subscriber, not paid, just a free tier. I've never paid any of these people that I'm talking about, by the way. I've only just bought their book. But I love his Substack articles. I read every single one of them, and then he puts them into just content, things like that, and the way and his whole content aesthetic, his whole package, all that stuff. It just hits me so well, and he's brown, so so if that wasn't good enough, brown fucks with brown, that kind of thing. But The 5 Types of Wealth is essentially Sahil Bloom's book where he talks about in his opinion, the 5 pillars of wealth, which are time, wealth, social wealth, mental wealth, physical wealth, and financial wealth. and he breaks down all those different types of wealths in his book, along with, once again, actionable frameworks, methods, guides, etc. If you get his book, he'll also like link you a massive PDF guide to print out to like work along as you read the book. This man is giving you homework while you read his book. Real brown of him. But no, I think it's really cool, and I absolutely loved reading it. I had to break it down into chunks because at some point it just got so dense of like I highlighted a ton. I highlighted a ton in this book, bro. I literally just got to a page where I almost highlighted the entire page. Can I find it again? Yeah. I just highlighted just the entire page right there because all those different points were so cool. Um, and he just he just moves differently, and I've learned a lot in his book. The Life Razor, which till this day I have not developed a compelling enough life razor for me to remember it. So, um, Sahil Bloom, if you would like to come on the End Goal podcast and help me create my life razor, I would be forever in your debt, forever. But the life razor, um, he starts off by saying the term razor denotes any principle that allows you to quickly remove unlikely explanations or avoid unnecessary steps. And so the life razor, let me pull this out, is essentially a phrase, a um, what's it called? Like a phrase or an adage or something you tell yourself that's so simple that you always stick to no matter what, and it just dictates the rest of your behaviors, actions, etc. Um, I'm reading like how he explains the life razor. Well, he says it right here. Your life razor is a single statement that will define your presence in the current season of life. The life razor has three core characteristics. It's controllable. It should be within your direct control. It's ripple creating, so it should have positive second order effects in other areas. And it's identity defining. It should be indicative of the type of person you are, the way your ideal self shows up in the world. So that was awesome. I learned about the parable of the Mexican fisherman through this book. And if you know me, I don't stop talking about that parable because it's a banger story. Um, let me find one of these other flags. He has just so much stuff in here. Like he has social wealth hacks that I wish I knew at 22, and there's 31 social wealth hacks he wished he knew at 22. He's in like his 30s now. But he has like things like this and little short stories and other things just put throughout every single section of this book. It's so good. It's so dense, but it's so worth I think it's worth everybody's time. I definitely think it hits more once you've experienced some life, and then you also have life to go. So in your late 20s slash early 30s, I think is the perfect time to read this book, especially if you're struggling with purpose, struggling with direction in life, or not knowing who you are, what you want to do, um, don't know what's important to you, etc. I think this book really helps break down how each of these like five types actually like how they affect and exist in your life, and help you understand in my life which ones of these am I giving priority to, which ones am I not giving priority to, and how can I change that if I so want to. Because to be honest with you, you're not going to get a perfect score on all of these, right? All types of you're not going to be able to like perfectly manage your time, social, mental, physical, and financial wealth all at the same time. Something's going to have to give every single time, but being aware of that and understanding the trade-off, and then going forth afterwards, knowing that like, okay, 6 months down the line, 2 years down the line, I'll be able to change this balance the other way because I'm doing this current like method framework now. It's really helpful. It's helped me accept so many things in my current life that I just had not been able to accept or did not want to accept. And after reading the book, after like you might be like, okay, he's just talking. He's not really like, um like what do you mean Sahil um gives you like homework, right? No, 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 no. He gives you a wealth score quiz in the book. So I took my transparent sticky notes because as a man who annotates, you got to have your transparent sticky notes and wait till the end of the video and I will share with you my perfect annotation toolkit. But I went through at the time when I read this, which was 2024 and the beginning of, no, yeah, end of 2024, beginning of 2025 when the book came out. And I took my wealth score quiz at the time. My time wealth was 9 points out of 25. Um, sorry, out of 20. The max you can get is 4 points per question. There's 5 questions per pillar. So 9 out of 20 for time wealth, 13 out of 20 for social wealth, 15 out of 20 for mental wealth because I stay in my brain. 12 points out of physical wealth, and then 18 points out of financial wealth. And this was my wealth score in a pie chart right there. And I left all this in here because when I go back and read it, I kind of want to do it again and see um, if that's changed now, how that's changed now. And so let me know if you guys want me to share that with you too. I will. We talked about Life Razor, right? I literally put a sticky note in here. I'll share it with you guys because I do believe in being transparent with everybody and being honest with who I am and my feelings. I said I'm afraid of making a Life Razor, knowing that historically I am not a man of my word. Um, yeah. It's interesting that just me from 2 years ago, like who I think about, who I am, like sorry, how I think about myself just from 1.5 to 2 years ago can affect me so much. Um, I don't disagree with it though. So that was the 5 Types of Wealth by Sahil Bloom. Once again, Sahil, if you see this, please come on the End Goal podcast. We would love to have you. And by we, I mean I. And please, please, please talk to me. That's okay. That sounded very desperate. I'm very sorry about that. I did not mean for it to come off as desperate. We're good. If I never talk to Sahil Bloom in my life, I will live. But on my bucket list to have Sahil Bloom on this podcast once at least. Okay, that is my bucket list. Um, Anyways, let's move on to the next and last book of this stack. It is Main Street Millionaire by Cody Sanchez. And at the beginning of the year, I told you that my goal for this year was to read this book and then break it down for you guys on the podcast. But I'm very sorry. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Going back to the fact that I'm not a man of my word. But this time it's different. It's not just me not wanting to do it. This is different, right? This book scared the ever living fuck out of me. I literally texted my friend and said, I don't think I can finish the book. I got scared after section 1. Now you might be asking yourself, Arish, why would this book scare you? Why would this book right here scare you? Why would Cody Sanchez's book scare you? Cody Sanchez isn't a scary person. She's intimidating. She's very affluent, very good at what she does. But why would her book scare you? And so here's why. Her book is split up into 4 sections based off the word rich. Rich. R is for research. I is for invest, I believe. C is for command, and H is for harness. And this book is basically a blueprint on how to buy your own business and run your own business and scale your own business with additional resources attached in the index. So if you ever were wondering about like what it is, how would I go about like finding a business, what businesses would I be interested in, what businesses are a right fit for me, all that stuff, you would get it all in a single book. This is probably the only book I'm ever going to need in the early stages of my business career. And I'm so unfortunately not proud to say this book scared me because It is so dense. The amount of information in this book. So I read the prologue first, right? And the prologue started off like feel good productivity. And I was like, I don't know if this book is going to be good or not, respectfully. Um, it felt like very like a high level motivation porn type thing. But then I started step one research and I just started reading, right? And she literally starts about what is the right type of business for you. Okay, what are the different types of businesses? What are the different levels of businesses? There's small businesses, lower middle market businesses, upper middle market businesses, Fortune 100 businesses. There's the level one type of business, the solo venture, the level two type of business, the hands-on CEO, the level three, the on-deck operator, the level four, the market reader, all these things, right? And like, what can you expect from all these different things? Even up to like the million number, like what's the market cap and all that stuff, right? And our cost to acquire, annual revenue, all those things. And there's just so much info. She breaks down her four favorite types of business. There's just this book has so much in it that by the time I was done reading just the section R, I literally texted my friend. I was like, I'm so scared. Some people might read all this and say, this gets me excited to try. It got me so afraid of the amount of work it's going to take. It got me genuinely afraid of all the sacrifices I know I would have to make in my life to switch my current lifestyle into the one that buys a business and runs their own small business and things like that. Uh, and so I read the R section and then I put it down. And I was like, I wanted to finish this book because I also want to give it to my friend who wants to read it. And I read through the I section, the invest section, and the way the book is set up is also the research section at the beginning is your early stages of researching and trying to find the business your first business to bid on and to try and buy. Then the invest section goes into deeper into the next steps after that. And then the command section goes into, okay, so when you bought your own business, how do you run it? And then I didn't even get to the H section because I put it down after command because I'm like, in my head, C and H do me no value because I need to spend all of my time in research and invest. I need to spend all of my time in research. So command and harness does me no value right now because I'm not in a position in my life where I'm trying to hire an operator anywhere. Right? So yeah, I loved this book. Don't get me wrong. I did say it scared me. It scared me so bad. But I love this book. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to be sitting down with another pen and paper when I go through my second reread to actually like work along with it, to to really just get into it. I initially just wanted to read this to flag the points that I wanted to come back to for my reread and things like that. But I think the best way to put this book to use is to work along with the book. This is not, in my opinion, a great book just to read like you would like Five Types of Wealth and things like that, or like you would Hidden Genius. I think this is a book that has to be implemented as you read it if you are at the stages of implementation. Like I'm at the R stage and going forward into C and H, I felt like I was getting nothing out of it. I was just reading it to read, but I was getting literally nothing out of it. I didn't know what to highlight, where to highlight. Nothing hit my brain. But that's how good this book is. That is how good this book is, in my opinion. And um, I genuinely think anybody who's interested in business should pick up this book. I don't care if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an investor, if you're a career salary man or whatever it is. Um, everybody should get this book and at least read the first half of it, and you will really know. You will really feel like you know, is this for me or is this not for me? And honestly, hats off to Cody Sanchez for writing it that way. Because she could have just made all these like fluffy stories about people who made it and try and just motivation you into buying her course and joining her community and then trying to be own a business and be successful that way. She doesn't do that. Like in this one, she brings all the hard facts, the concepts, and then she will slot in stories from people that she knows, that she's worked with, that she's helped, that her own stories, all that stuff that show these points in action. Uh, and I was like, this is sick. I'm so afraid. I was so afraid of this book. Um, and I will not be finishing it until I go back and work through, build my deal box, figure out what businesses are right for me, do all the research, do all the hours. When she said in here, like it can take people up from 1 to 2 years to like do their first deal. And I was like, 1 to 2 years? What do you mean? And then as I was finishing the research section, I was like, yeah, that would take me months. That honestly might, with my current time, like time allotment, would take me months just to research everything. Um, like not even talk about going to meet people, going to like physically scout places, all that stuff. It would take me like a few months to research through everything, work through everything, right? So, man, this was a crazy book. It's awesome though. It is a really good book. It is a really, really good book. Um, but yeah, these are four good and not so good self-help or motivation or nonfiction, self-improvement, finance, whatever books you want to call them. We need a new word, honestly, because feel like Mainstream Millionaire is a finance book through and through, but Hidden Genius just feels like one of those. Not even it doesn't even feel like a self-improvement book. It just feels like a book of stories, in my opinion. Feel Good Productivity definitely reads like a self-improvement book, and Sahil Bloom like blends a lot of it together. Like he blends self-improvement with like actionable advice along with being a book of stories, and like hats off to Sal for doing that. But yeah, you'll pick up any of these, I don't think you can go wrong. um while I didn't love Feel Good Productivity, I can't deny that when I first heard these concepts from Ali Abdaal, that I was very much bought in. So if you've never seen an Ali Abdaal video or consumed Ali Abdaal content, definitely try this book. Maybe, I don't know if Amazon has like samples so that you can like read the first couple of pages, chapters, whatever it is, before you buy it. Try that out, and see if you like it. But yeah, I don't know what my next book is going to be. It will either be a book that my buddy and I do a buddy read for, because he just literally told me 2 days ago that he wanted to read a book together, and I was like, that's an honor. I would love to read a book with friends. So we might do that. Or I will finally start the Hormozy books that have been sitting right there since 2022. And I have not cracked a single one open. So I might start with those. We will see. I think I need to, because the point where I am in Fableware now is we're running ads, and I'm so bad at anything having to do with marketing and ads that I need to read and understand, and I have to do it to really, fully understand it, but I need to read a lot more about it. So I might start reading that, in line with everything else that I'm doing anyways. But that was a podcast, book club, book reviews of four of my, not necessarily favorite, but four self-improvement finance books that I've read, nonfiction books that I've read over the past few years that I think would be worth your time. And if you read any of these, would love to know your thoughts. If you read any other ones like these, please feel free to leave a recommendation below. In this video, over on Spotify, over on podcasts, come over to Instagram or TikTok, leave a recommendation there. DM me recommendations, email me recommendations, whatever you want. If you want to keep up with what I do, just outside of the podcast, I have a Substack at The End Goal. It's just theendgoal.substack. And I put out a weekly letter there, and it's not necessarily like, it's a little bit all over the place because it's just me. It's like things that I'm thinking about that week, or that I want to like talk about that week, or ideas that I've been stewing on that I want to work on to get like, and just put it out into the world. And so that's kind of what the Substack's there for me right now. You can follow me on Instagram and Go Podcast, TikTok and Go Podcast, Instagram and Show Archives if you're into fantasy books, book reviews, and things like that. Book recommendations, same thing on TikTok. So you can follow me at all those places. And yeah, go to fableware.shop. Okay, bye.